BMW India has just launched the 3 Series Gran Limousine. It's a completely new segment. It replaces the 3 GT. But how will this car perform in the Indian market? What's the potential? Talking to me about this and a lot more is Vikram Pawah, the President and CEO of BMW India. Vikram, thanks for joining us. I understand you're still in Australia waiting to come back. But great we can use technology to talk. Coming straight to the 3 Series, the Grand Limo. We knew this car was coming for a while, but I think it's replaced the 3 GT, but it's quite different. So what are your expectations from this car and who are the customers you are targeting?
So Hormazd, first of all, yeah, always great to join, and Happy New Year to you and everyone else up there as well, and looking forward to joining you physically fairly soon as well. You're right, 3 Series as a brand, I think if you look at it, it's the soul of BMW, right? That's where we define the sedans to start off with, and it's been quite a famous car in India as well since we launched it, and we refreshed the 3 Series in 2019 in August when we launched the new generation. The 3 Gran Limousine looks at giving the power of choice to our customers, because what we got as a feedback from our customers was, there are certain customers who love to drive and love the driving dynamics, and space is not the key criteria for them. And there are certain who want to be driven around more than be driving themselves. And sometimes they like to drive as well, and they'll prefer a lot of space at the back, especially when they're going for a long trip for their work or when they're going with their family. So the 3 Grand Limousine tries to address that need of the Indian customer specifically, where the space matters and the driving dynamics is not compromised at all. And I'm happy to say that India is the only second country in the world to actually sell this model at the moment. And it's only country in the world to have a right-hand drive version of this model. So that shows, this model is made for India, for the Indian consumers. And our expectation is fairly simple that, we are able to provide a better value proposition, a more spacious car, a car that has got technology, a car that's got driving dynamics, a car that's got comfort, both at the front and the rear. So it addresses the need of the Indian customers who want an entry-level sedan, okay, but a little bit more spacious and don't want to go all the way to a 5 Series or 7 Series. So we expect this to expand the market more or less, and you're right, the 3 Gran Turismo was a slightly different design. This is a full sedan, so it's not a coupe or a Gran Turismo design. It's a pure sedan design, so it gives you the entire limo experience that you expect from a sedan.
Right, and you had the 3 GT was quite a popular car also before it got phased out. So do you expect a similar kind of customer profile, or are you looking at a kind of drawing it from, let's say, even other brands, regular 3 Series buyers, and leading to the question on cannibalization of let's say both 3 and 5 Series?
So I think, Hormazd, what happens is once you give choice to customers, you actually expand the market, because what you're doing is you're addressing their needs much more. So nobody has to compromise. People find the right fit based on their usage or based on their style or based on their preference. So I think the 3 Grand Limousine addresses that need, which was missing in the market at the moment. I expect, yes, there would be some cannibalization, no doubt about it. People who were settling for either a 3 or a 3 GT or a 5, instead of looking at a full-size limousine in that 3 Series segment, they might switch over to that. But that doesn't mean that it'll reduce our sale. What I expect is it'll attract more customers to this segment, because I think the value proposition now in this segment at that price point is fantastic, right? You get a fantastic full-blown sedan with a lot of space, which we require in the Indian roads. It has the driving dynamics when you want to drive it. It has the comfort and features at the back when you want to sit at the back. So a great value proposition for every need from that perspective. So I expect that the segment will expand by this. And we might get, yes, you're right, conquest customer from other brands, no doubt about it. But we might also get customers from near premium as well.
Right. So obviously, I know you don't want to give any projections on sales, but do you think that the Grand Limo is actually going to be one of your volume products going forward?
Well, so if you look at it, if you look at our sales overall in India till now in the last 10, 12 years, there's a good proportion of 3 Series and 3 GT that we have sold, right? Equal proportion of X1s and probably equal proportion of 5 Series and the 6 GT combination. So I think these 3 pillars for us are very critical. So I expect the 3 Grand Limousines to actually make that 3 Series proposition even stronger. and make that sales even more for us. And three, is the popular brand for BMW, and I expect that to enhance that brand further.
Right. And, looking at, let's say, the other long wheelbase options, obviously the 3 Series has come from China. You've got the 5 Series long wheelbase version also over there. Do you think there's a market for that, or do you think the 6 GT kind of takes care of that? Because clearly, the same logic applies that someone wanting a bigger car, wants fun to drive and the space, might want even a long wheelbase 5 Series.
Yeah, you're right, Hormazd. I mean, there's always demand for long wheelbase in India. I think India as a market is a chauffeur-driven market. I think we all know that 95% of our customers would be driven in these kind of segments. So yes, we want to provide a long wheelbase version, but I think in the 5 Series, what we saw that 5 Series as such as a car is quite spacious. When we introduce the new generation, it is quite a spacious car. And when we introduced it with the combination of the 6 GT, we found that was addressing the need of those customers. Right. Whereas in the entry level 3 Series, people, when they are in that zone of either premium or near premium, that is the zone which we felt was the unaddressed need there. And hence we introduced the 3 Series long wheelbase.
Okay, that's interesting. So what you're saying is you think there's more of a need for a long wheelbase in the smaller sizes than at the entry level.
Because obviously when you want to enter the luxury space, let's say, you've owned the either mass market cars or the near premium cars for a while and you want to step into a luxury space, we find that a lot of families specifically, who are looking for a family sedan want that space. So yes, we've got great executive sedans, no doubt about it, or sporty sedans, which addresses the need of our corporate or business customers today. But I think the family sedan space is an unoccupied space, and I think 3 Series fits pretty much well into that.
Right. And, you said this is the only market in the world where we have a right-hand drive 3 Series long wheelbase. So obviously a fair amount of investment would have gone into that because you can't share that with any market. So are there plans to export it out of here to other right-hand drive markets? And do you need a certain amount of minimum volume you need to justify the investment in, developing this car for the Indian market? So I'm sure there's a certain volume requirement to make the business case work.
True that very much, Hormazd, that yes, any commercial decision needs to be based on the viability factors, right? And I think what we know is that first of all, we make whatever we make in India, we make it for India, right? We don't make it to export. We normally make in our markets to deliver within the demand of the market. We believe that the long-term demand potential in India is phenomenal. I think we've spoken about this many number of times. I think the India unlocking has to happen at some point. Right, it cannot be sitting at 1.2% of the total market. The luxury market has to come up to that 5%, 6% level, and I think the viability comes from that purely. So we have always invested ahead of time. We invested in our plant ahead of time. We've invested in localization ahead of time. We want to invest in this also ahead of time. So that shows a commitment to India and our confidence on India. And I think once the launch happens, you'll see, the kind of response I'm already getting pre-launch. It's going to be a fantastic car show.
So, Vikram, what you're saying is no export plans for the 3 Series.
No.
Everything's going to be for the Indian market right now. Got it. And, you talked about the luxury segment has to unlock. It's really been, as you said, 1.2%, just not growing. What do you think really are the drivers for growth? Because, the obvious ones are there, but does it go beyond really the high taxation, which is a dampener, infrastructure issues? When do you think, the luxury car segment will kind of see an exponential takeoff point?
So, Hormazd, it's a combination of factors. I don't think any one particular factor is responsible for it. Obviously, the disparity in the taxation creates a distortion, no doubt about that, right? So, if you want to go for a premium car or a luxury car today, if it's 150% or 200% more just because of the taxation, that does dissuade you from taking that choice easily. Okay, you have to think it through and make an effort to get there. So yes, any distortion that is removed in this taxation will help in expansion of that market, no doubt about it. And I've always said that I think India benefits overall if this value chain goes up, because if the value chain goes up, the auto industry value goes up, which means the economy is growing at a faster pace. Then obviously it can create even more jobs and afford more jobs, and that'll be good for the entire country. But anyway, that's a topic for the government to cater to. The next part is obviously about infrastructure, and what we've seen is that after COVID, for example, since all these roads and everything, the infrastructure has been laid out over the last 4 or 5 years, people are taking more driving holidays now. So you can actually enjoy. And I remember you drove all the way from Mumbai to Delhi, right?
Yeah,
And it
Delhi
was
to
a beautiful
Mumbai in an
drive as
evening.
well, right? So you couldn't have thought about that maybe 5 years ago or 6 years
Absolutely.
ago, right? So those highways are there now, which allow you to drive beautiful cars. So I think that itself is increasing the demand already. We can see people asking for these luxury cars so that they can drive on these beautiful highways. So as the network develops further, the road network becomes even better, the more demand will happen. The third part is, I think, the product that is more suitable to Indian taste, and I think three Grand Limousine is a classical example of that. I think we found now, two products we've launched. One we launched last year, which is the two Grand Coupe, which was the entry level, urban kind of a sedan style, stylish thing that younger people are asking for. They want to enter the luxury space much earlier in their life, and they don't want a full-blown sedan, but they want something stylish. They want something, full of technology and enough space and driving dynamics in there. So the two Grand Coupe addresses that need. I think three Grand Limousine addresses the need of the families in India as well. So you can use it for your office needs, like you can still take it from Mumbai to Delhi and probably put everybody behind you in the back as well. Everybody will be happy, right? So
Yeah, absolutely. And talking about localization, let's say obviously with such limited volumes, localization also is limited, bit of a chicken and egg situation. You started doing engines. Some of your models have a higher level of localization than others, CBU. So, is there scope for more localization, or is this really dependent on volume as we go forward?
well, it is always dependent on volume. So I think we localized already roughly 50% of our production in India, right? And we did that in the anticipation of the volumes growing. Obviously, the volume have been taken a setback with COVID and a few other things that happened a couple of years ago, but we still expect that volumes to bounce back fairly strong sooner or later. Okay, and we keep on reviewing what parts further we can localize or locally procure. So actually, we have a international purchasing office in India as well, which not only procures for our local production but also procures for global production. So we keep on looking at parts that are used in global production, and those help us localize it much quicker as well. So
Right.
we've had really good progress in that area. We've been buying a lot of parts from India, and I think this will continue to grow as the volumes in India grow as the auto industry.
Right. And, Vikram, I want to switch to the upper end of your range, or the M cars, the really exciting version of that. How's the growth in that sector? I know it's very niche, but I would imagine it's not really been affected too much by COVID. And do you have any plans for localization of any of the M range? Because clearly, some of your competitors have done that in a way to kind of grow that part of the segment.
So Hormazd, you're right. The performance range, and we got two sets of those performance range. One we call as the full performance range, and one we call as the performance light range. Let's put it that way. Okay. So the full blown, let's say the M4, which is the most talked about car today
Yeah.
in the industry,
Yeah.
right? Yes, that will come to
For the
India.
wrong reasons, I don't know.
Well, for me, it's the right reason. I think, frankly, when you look at that car, when you actually
Yeah, I
stand in
know.
front of it, it's really a fantastic car. And really,
Yeah.
people have given so many comments to me here when we launched it in Australia. It's been a fantastic reception here we got for that. So,
Yeah.
for example, those segments are driven by these kind of products, the unique products that give you a fantastic feel, a fantastic performance as well, right? So, yes, I think we've been growing that segment quite dramatically over the last couple of years with the introduction of new products. So remember, we introduced the M2 CS, right? We introduced the M5. We introduced the M4 will be coming in soon. The M8 as well. So many more options available compared to what we used to have earlier. So I think that is obviously expanding the market. You're right. It's a niche segment. It's a segment where people, who are fans of that M cars are the only ones who normally buy it. But we've seen more and more people attaching to that brand. Other than that, we've also got the M Performance brand, right, which we call as a light brand. So it is within a regular range of products, right? We introduced the M versions or options or variants within that, let's say, the X3 or a 3 Series. You would
Yeah.
see us doing more of that sooner or later, because I think we're seeing a lot of demand from people that, yes, I want the performance, but I don't want to go all the way to the full M model, but I want the
Yeah.
flavor of the M in it, but I still want the basic things in my normal run car. So yes, you will see a lot of localization of that happening, and I think we got a fantastic lineup of that coming through as well.
So what you're saying is the so-called lighter M's, we will see some more localization of that.
Yes, you will. Yes, you will, for
And
sure.
that could even be engines, I think, possible. I mean, we
Let's
could
wait
have
for
a
the time, Thomas. Let's wait for the
uh,
time.
yeah, because a 40i is something that could work well as a 340i, and you've got it in 7 series. I think you answered that in a way. It's not the sun that's making you red right now. Maybe it's a question.
That's okay. No, it's not the question either. It's the heat. I'm sitting in a hot zone at the moment, so it's not the question either. Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Great. That's good to know that there's a lot of things. But Vikram,
Yeah.
seriously, so let me, without saying anything, could we see more localization of the current engine range also? Because that really saves you a lot of costs. Because from what I
How
understand
much
right now,
it depends on the demand. Like I said, it purely depends on the demand. These decisions have to be made based on the demand volume. So what we're seeing is that as the time is passing on, as the industry is growing, or the taste for Indian public is growing for having a variety of models, you've seen we have increased our model range dramatically
yeah.
over the years, right? And similarly, I think to address these individual needs, because in these luxury segment there are individual customers, and we need to address them. So you would see us addressing that, but obviously timing of each will depend on when the demand inflection point takes place.
Fair enough. Okay.
Right.
And just coming back to, let's say, demand and 2020, how it's been for you. How is 2021 panning out? Or just a little recap of 2020. I mean, obviously a
Yeah,
year
2020. I
everyone
think
will forget.
last time we met, I think when was that? That was just post the festive season, right, or around the
Yeah,
festive season. So
that's
the
right.
year had not finished as yet. But I think if I now look back at 2020, I'm really happy with how the team has performed in India. I think Team India has really done a fantastic job, because if you look at it, either from a adaptability point of view, how quick we were to adapt to a virtual environment, to a contactless journey, making sure that the customer treatment was still fantastic during those times, right? Or coming up with programs that supported customers during that tough economic time with the Easy Start package and finance packages, which helped them get through that period. But more importantly, winning on the segment share dramatically over 2020. I think we've done that well. We have really shown that our product strategy works, and I think it was the right decision to continue with our strategy in spite of that pandemic. So I don't think many people followed that, but we were very adamant on that we will continue to launch products in spite of this pandemic, and we did that. And you can clearly see the benefits. We have gained a significant segment share, and we have outperformed the luxury segment and the industry in 2020. My
Right.
expectation from 2021 is even higher than that now, because we're going to launch, across our 3 brands of BMW, Mini, and Motorrad. We will launch 25 products in 2021. That is the biggest ever product offensive you've seen from BMW in India, and you will see that in 2021. So I'm expecting a outperformance of the industry again. So I'm expecting the industry will grow. We will outgrow that for sure, right? So
Right.
that's a
And will you go so far as to say that you would challenge market leaders for the number 1 spot? Are you confident of that this year? 25, well, not all are BMWs, but with the kind of model lineup you have.
So
And
how
now
much
you've
is
got something like
number
a
one
three.
is always the game. Number one is always the game. You know that. We want to get to number one. That's a deserved spot, and we'll get there. That's no doubt about it. But for me, more important is being number one in a bigger market, not in a market that's only 20,000 units, right?
Right.
I want to be to number one in a market that's 100,000 units, and my aim will be to continue to grow the market that way.
And what do you think are your secret weapons in 2021? Obviously, the Grand Limo is one of them because it addresses a need. I mean, there's no other car in that segment. It's quite unique. And obviously, you've got other products in the arsenal as well.
So I think we got a very good depth of models now. If you look at it, compared to previous years, now we have in sports activity range all the way from X1 to X7, right? You get all those options. In your sedan and coupe range, you got from 2 Series all the way to 8 Series now, right? So if you really look at it, every price point, a customer has a choice to choose a body style, to choose a fuel type. And I think that is the key weapon for us. That's what the luxury customer is looking for, that they should not be able to compromise. They should be able to have that choice in their hand. What is my style? What is my fuel type? And I should be able to buy that. And I think we are able to offer that even after BS6. If you look at it, we're offering both petrol and diesel in every price point right now. And that's the secret
Absolutely.
weapon.
So yeah, so that's interesting. So what you're basically saying is just to have literally to carpet bomb the luxury car market with, let's say, products at every price point, every fuel type, and that's quite interesting what you say, from X1 to X7 and 2 Series to 8 Series. So really, it's the breadth of the products you are offering, which has never been, let's say, well, wider than before. And
Yeah.
what you're saying is that really is giving you the confidence to get the extra numbers.
Yeah, what's giving me confidence is the Indian consumers' mindset right now. They want the choice. They don't want to compromise anymore because I don't think we are lesser than anywhere else in the world anymore. So we want the best of the things in our garage as well. Okay, and that's why we are offering every product that's there to offer, right, for our customers right now.
Great, Vikram. Thanks for talking to us. As always, customer is king. I think you need to pander him, indulge him as much as possible. And I think that's really the key in the luxury car segment. Thanks so much for talking to us. Wish you all the best. We are really excited by your confidence and enthusiasm for 2021. And let's hope it turns out to be a good year for everyone. Thanks so much for talking to us.
Thanks, Hormazd. Always a pleasure. And let's stay safe and healthy in the meanwhile. Okay.
Look forward to seeing you in person soon.
We'll
Bye.
be there soon. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.